And we're live. I feel like I could do ASMR right now. This music makes me think I can do ASMR. It should be starting. Let's see, did it start over here? This music. Ooh, not my voice. Okay. Let's put you back in your little box. There we go. Okay. This one is going to be this. And then this. Okay. And then, wait, ready? I'm so sorry. You guys have been looking at the ugly thing. Okay. Oh, come on. Come on, TikTok. Get it together. Come on, TikTok. You can do it. I don't know why it's been so slow. Come on. There we go. Woof. God, Britt. It's only because I've been giving Britt a hard time. Would you like to guess what my group chat with Britt and Melissa is called? Because I picked the name out, and I'm surprised Britt hasn't changed it yet. It's not. Stop it. Stop it. It's not. It's a good name. It's a good name. Our group chat name is Dinner Reservations for the Raz. If you know, you know. If you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. Don't ask me. I'm not going to tell you. I feel like with this music, wait, okay, has anyone else seen the person on TikTok who it's like a puppet and they're like stirring a cauldron and it makes like marbly sounds? This is the music I imagine. It's like, you hear the like, and then they're like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Yes. Okay. I'm not crazy. Someone on YouTube says, yes. Thank you. Thank you. I know I'm not crazy. I know it exists. That's what this music makes me think. It's like that's what it thinks of. That's what I'm thinking of, honestly. Oh my goodness. I also do not like this camera, this TikTok, what the camera TikTok currently has. It's just not good in comparison. I just like my camera so much more. But you guys have to deal with it, so whatever. This is why I'm like, go watch on YouTube. It'll be a much better experience, I promise. Okay, let me see. How are we doing on time? Oh, it's time. Okay, all right. Here we go. Hello. Hi, friends. It's Masterclass time. Okay, I told TikTok wait, can everyone on YouTube hear me? Can anyone hear the music on YouTube? It's probably extremely quiet. That's probably why you can't hear it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yep. The music should be very, very quiet. Like, almost like non-existent. Oh, no music. You can't hear any music. Just me talking? Hold on. First, okay, hold on. There we go. Now you should be able to hear it. Yeah, the music should be like almost non-existent on TikTok. I'm just letting, or on YouTube, I mean. I'm just letting you know. Like, it should be, like in my ears, it's very loud. But, okay, perfect. All right, cool. All right, well, before we get started with the lesson, let me explain a little bit. I explained for like 10 minutes. I'm going to give a much shorter version here. Okay, so this is what happened. Number one, had poor planning. I don't know how the hell we're at the end of October. I genuinely don't know. My brain is not processing. I can't understand. Like, it's annoying. Okay, so the plan was to do all of the Fantastic Beans, And for reference, let me tell you. So I have a doc, and it's where I put all my notes in, and then I take those notes and I transfer it over into the PowerPoint. The notes for last lesson were about 5 pages long. It wasn't very long at all. And it was perfect because I just inputted everything in. It was like the most seamless, easiest class to set up. This one was the complete opposite. I did some poor planning, and so the court was kind enough to help me. Lucy, Mo, and Amanda were kind enough to help me pull a lot of things. And I had to go to a work thing yesterday, and I came home, and the doc was at 20 pages. And I was like, what? So I was looking through it, and we weren't even done. We were like 40% at this point. So then this morning I was like, well, I'll just finish the rest of it. That was ambitious because it is so much information that it is too much to put in a class. So here's the thing. Tonight's class is going to be shorter. By shorter, for reference, before the Slido codes went in, last week's lesson was 30 slides. This is 26. Okay. The one that you're going to get in November is going to be longer. In fact, I might even start it sooner because we might need the full 2 hours. And that one's going to include like the more in-depth things. But I wanted to get these more minor guys out of the way. I shouldn't even call them minor because we're going over the gods and goddesses tonight. But like I wanted to get these ones out of the way so we could focus on like the Asteri, the Valg, the Fae, the Shifters, like all of that in one lesson and not be so focused on these creepy crawlies. So this is kind of what's going on. So that is so this is about a 26 slide thing. Your quiz at the end is 20 seconds per question. So we're going to see how this one goes. And then the next one will have a prize for the quiz. So this is kind of like a little bit of a test run. Okay. All right. You guys ready for the lesson? I can turn off the music too if anyone wants me to. I'll turn it off. There we go. So that way you guys don't have to get distracted. Okay. So like I said, so we did the housekeeping. So we have gods and goddesses. We're going to go over those first. And then we're going to go over the restricted creatures. This is kind of like creepy crawlies, freaky things, not the spiders. I want to make that clear because the spiders are Valk. So the spiders don't go into the thing. The Slido code is Masterclass. Master is an M, like Sarah J. Maas, M-A-A-S. And then we'll have a quiz, and then we're going to have a Q&A. Quiz is going to be much shorter than the last one was, so just so everyone knows. Okay, so this is the Slido code. So the code, so you go to Slido.com, code is Masterclass. Okay, we have the same questions we had last week. This is just more of like a, let's find everyone. Let's get everyone together. So the first thing is, what are you drinking tonight? So I'm drinking water. I'm very boring. I'm drinking a bottle of water. It is kind of the best thing ever. I just needed need to be hydrated. Water, red wine. Love it. Dr. Peppy. Same, honestly. I always drink a Dr. Pepper. Coke Zero, Dr. Pepper. Heck yeah. Water for me. I see water. Water. Wine. Prime hydration. Coke Zero. Wow, we got a lot of Coke. Wait, raspberry lime bubble water. Okay, love that. Coke Zero, wine. I see a lot of wine. Okay, so when I went to Taylor Swift's movie, I had they called it a lavender lover, which I was like, they should have just called it a lavender haze, but it's fine. And it was a purple gin with lemonade, and it is now my new favorite drink. Like my mom and I went to the store and bought the purple gin. So now I have purple gin. Anyways, let's see, water as it's 12 p.m. Friday. Oh my gosh, you are like way ahead. So hello Friday. I'm jealous. Apple juice, my favorite drink of all time. So I am not judging. Honey lemon water. I had that last week. Love it. Cream soda. Nothing. Tempo gin, blackberry lime. That sounds really good. Oh my gosh. That sounds delicious. Okay. Let's see. It looks like we're doing good. We have 2 more people typing. I'm going to get everyone typing and then we'll go ahead and start the next question. I always like to ask this question because I'm curious to see if it ever changes. Gatorade. Wine with bloodbane. Nice. I love it. Okay. All right. I'm switching over to the next question. Your favorite SJM series, Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, Crescent City. I was asking my friend this, who she's reading the books. I'm very proud of her. And I asked her, I was like, which one do you like the best? And she likes ACOTAR, which I was like, okay. And then she likes Throne of Glass. And then she really doesn't like Crescent City, which I was like, why don't you like it? And she's like, because it's modern. And I was like, oh, I actually understand that. Poor thing has no idea what she's going into with HOSAB. She's starting that this weekend. We're making Bridget. Yes. I'm honestly bringing this gin. Like, I already asked Avery, I was like, Avery, you know, because Avery's calling her car the booze bus because she's bringing the alcohol, which, by the way, let me quickly clarify as I say that. Not a single person going to this house is a partier. Like, when Avery says she's like the booze bus, it's like the mom car that's bringing alcohol for like all of her mom wine friends. Like, that's what we're talking about. Okay. So I was like, Avery, you need to buy this gin. And she was like, I hate gin. I was like, fine, I'll buy the gin. So I'm going to provide this purple gin because we need it for the house and I'm obsessed with it. But yeah, I did tell her she's not allowed. For my friend, I saw someone said RIP her heart when she finishes Hosab. I did tell her she wasn't allowed to finish it without me present because I wanted to see her reaction for the final chapter. Okay. All right. I'm going on to the next thing. So anyway, so we did this for the last lesson. I'm just going to kind of repeat it. I like to kind of keep this in here. But the purpose of this lesson is we're going to have a deeper understanding of the creatures and the main beings. We're not going over the main beings today. We're really mainly going over the creatures. And then again, just to reiterate, we're doing canon first, theorizing second. So a lot of the information or all of the information provided tonight is canon facts. It is not me theorizing. I mean, you all know that I have this theory that Lanthus is Valg. You'll see Lanthus is in the slide tonight. He's not even in the Valg slide because that's not canon. We don't know that for sure. We all assume that because it makes the most logical sense, but that has not been confirmed. So that is just as an example. You know, the point of these is so that you guys have the contextual evidence to understand it and then go have your own theories, discuss amongst yourselves, all of that fun stuff. But we're starting with the gods and goddesses of the universe. And I will also quickly, as a caveat, say this section, the gods and goddesses, is broken up by the individual series, but the restricted creatures is not. So you're going to see, we're going to flip around because I'm trying to like let you guys compare and contrast different creatures. So just a heads up. Okay, Throne of Glass. Let's start with Throne of Glass. We always start with Throne of Glass first because it was the first series. But anyways, 8 guardians. This was in Throne of Glass chapter 25, so we always reference at the very top. Elena is the one that actually says this, and she said that they guarded the portal between our worlds. We have managed to buy some time, and I was able to slip past. So I don't know if they are actually gods, but it's interesting that there are these guardians. If you remember, they're at the very top. They're almost like they are the gargoyles at the very top. So just want to put that in there. And a mother goddess. You know, I have to say I got to eat my own words on this because I think like a year ago, I told you guys that there was no mother goddess in Throne of Glass. I was like, doesn't exist. There's no mother goddess. And I did like a very, very quick like Kindle search and I couldn't find one. And lo and behold, there is a reference to one, but it is only referenced once and it's never referenced again. So I don't know what that means. I don't know any of that, but I'm going to kind of explain it to you right now. So this is in Throne of Glass chapter 27. So it says a mother goddess. Some theories suggest that the mother goddess is just a spirit from one of these other worlds and that she strayed through something called a word gate and found Aurelia in need of form of life. So the goddess and her gods, aka the mother goddess, that's kind of how they describe her. But the word isn't, you ignore the little hoey. We'll ignore that. Okay, but the word isn't a religion, at least not in the northern parts of the continent, and it's not included in the worship of the goddesses and the gods. It's interesting that some theories suggest that the mother goddess is just a spirit from these other worlds, and that she strayed through something called a word gate. So it's a repeat of that quote. So this is the only time the mother goddess is ever mentioned in Throne of Glass, and I don't know what that means because any other time it's brought up, it's with the witches. So unknown. Okay, confirmed gods in the Throne of Glass universe, and we have to give a shout out to Lucy. She did all the research on this and helped me out with it. But these are the confirmed ones, and we put them in the books so that if you guys ever wanted to reference it, you guys can. So confirmed gods. So for Throne of Glass, we have Loomis, which is the god of love, not a goddess, a god, which I thought was interesting. Deanna in Throne of Glass, she's the goddess of hunt and maidens, but then you'll notice Deanna is brought up again in Air of Fire as the keeper of the moon. So it's interesting to kind of see the differences. Okay, then Farnor is the god of war. Didn't know there was a god of war. The three-faced goddess, obviously mentioned in Air of Fire. Mala, the sun goddess. Deanna, the keeper of the moon. Remember, they're sisters. Abraxas. Did you guys remember this? Abraxas is actually an ancient serpent who held the world between his coils at the behest of the three-faced goddess. Hold on, I'm reading some of the comments. Let me see. I mean, mother with the witches makes sense. Yes. I think the mother goddess is also brought up when they drink wine before the last duel, potentially. Maybe the northern witch. Yes. Okay. So then it says Abraxas. Okay, so the three-faced goddess, and then Silba, the goddess of healers, bringer of peace. It's important to note that Silba is mentioned here, and she's mentioned also in the Southern Continent. I wanted to make that quick reference. And then in Queen of Shadows, it's the sea god, but it wasn't actually named. And then Anieth, we all know, the clever goddess, Helios' consort. Temis is the god of wild things. And then in Empire Storms, we officially know that Helios is the god of death. So just in case anyone's wondering. Okay, 12 gods, 1 Alen. I do want to quickly say, I just realized the 36 gods in the Southern Continent are not named here, but if you guys ever want to reference it, I will give you those notes. I'm like, I just realized there's no Southern Continent. But we did pull those, and I forgot to put it in the slideshow, but it's fine. Okay, so 12 gods, 1 Alen. This is the gods that we ran into. Well, first off, they appeared in Empire of Storms, but then they also appear in Kingdom of Ash. So I just want to throw that out there. So they have no forms. They're only figments of light and shadow, wind, rain, song, and memory, each individual and yet a part of one majority, one consciousness. Not just the gods, but beings of a higher, different existence from whom time was fluid and bodies were things to be shifted and molded, who could exist in multiple places, spread themselves wide like nets being thrown. They were mighty and vast and eternal as a human was to a mayfly. And then in Kingdom of Ash, they're even more explained. So it says there was one with many faces, one that had the voice like steel and scream, a voice like crashing waves. There is Mala, and that's the one like it's like shimmering dawn in a heart of flame. Deanna, and I put duh because there's no description of her, but we all know it's Deanna. And then there was a voice that was kind and loving, and I went to fact check it. The voice that was kind and loving is not Mala, because this is all obviously in reference to when Alen uses the keys in Kingdom of Ash. So just want to make that note. Okay, so moving on to ACOTAR. So I thought this was really interesting that in ACOTAR, in both ACOTAR and ACOMAF, when they're discussing the cauldron, they use 3 phrases. They use the mother, the dark mother, or the dark maker. And the dark maker is said by the bone carver, but the mother is the one we hear most common. And then the dark mother is another one that's pretty common. So I thought that was kind of a little interesting note to make. And then in ACOWAR, we also hear about the old gods. And it says there was life here. And this is Cassian. I almost said Cassius. It tells you where my brain's at. Cassian said, answering my question at last, before the High Lords took Prythian, old gods, we called them. They ruled the forest and the rivers and the mountains. Some were those things. Then magic shifted to the High Fae, who brought the cauldron and the mother along with them. Though the old gods were still worshipped by a select few, most people forgot them. So these feel more nature primalness, I should say. Just to make that known. And then the death gods, we all know these guys, but just as a reminder, it's the bone carver, the weaver. They're twins, in case you forgot. And then Koschei is the oldest of the 3 siblings. So the bone carver first appears in ACOMAF in chapter 16. The weaver is also first mentioned in ACOMAF in chapter 16. And then Koschei, his name is officially mentioned in Silver Flames. And in Silver Flames, it says, the bone carver mentioned a brother to me once, a fellow true immortal and a death lord. That was his name. Koschei is no mere sorcerer. He was confined to the lake only due to an ancient spell, but they call him Koschei the Deathless, for he has no death waiting for him. He's truly immortal. So just want to make that known. Okay, and then the Daglin. I know we probably talk about them a lot. There's actually not a lot of information about them. Shocker, because we all think that they're actually the Asteri, but it's fine. I'm canon facts first, people. So the Daglin are a group of tall, strange-looking beings with crowns atop of their heads. The Fae were not the first masters of this world, and according to the oldest legends, most now forgotten, we were created by beings who were near gods and monsters, the Daglin. They ruled for millennia and enslaved us and the humans. They were petty and cruel and drank the magic of the land like wine. Drank the magic of the land like wine. It's like, if it ends up being different, I'm going to be shocked. So, I thought the voice was either Silba or Anieth. It could have been. It could have been. I always wondered if the goddess with many faces is somehow related to the queen of many faces in Jezebel's library. That is the theory I have, but I am not 100% sure. Obviously, it hasn't been confirmed. So, yeah, Daglin, very creepy. Okay, moving on to Crescent City. So with Crescent City, Luna, is the goddess that is claimed by both the Fae and the wolves, which, spoiler alert, for those of you that haven't read Hosab, I'm so sorry I'm about to say this. Yeah, that's because they're both Fae. So they both Fae beings are, like, clearly... They go for Luna. Anyways, the Starborn Fae is anointed by Luna, and Luna has no mate or lover. She's an eternal maidenhood, which I didn't know. And then this is the description of Luna's statue. So it says 30 feet high, Luna sat in a carved golden throne. The goddess, lovely rendering in shimmering moonstone. A silver tiara with a full moon held by two crescent ones graced her upswept curly hair. At her sandaled feet lay twin wolves. Their baleful eyes daring any pilgrim to come closer. Across her back of her throne, a bow of solid gold had been slung, its quiver full of silver arrows. You know who else had silver arrows? Deanna. I do know that from Throne of Glass. Draped across her veiling slim fingers resting there. Both wolves and Fae had claimed Luna as their patron goddess, had gone to war over whom she favored in a millennium long since past. Well, yeah, it's because they're both Fae. You know, oh shoot, sorry. Okay, so Chthona. My friend asked me how to pronounce that. It's pronounced Chthona. I do know that for a fact. I listened to the audiobook. Chthona. Chthona is children of Midgard / children of Chthona. So the reference is, I swear uponChthona's dark crown that no living beings other than yourselves are currently on this island. Chthona is... We don't have like a description of what type of goddess she is, but she's heavily tied with Solus, who we know has sun priests because that is what Randall is in Crescent City. And also it's noted that the sun priests are trained warriors, hence why Randall, who's a human, was kind of allowed to be a sun priest. It's also why he escorted Bryce and Ember when Bryce was a baby, because it was more, you know, he was a trained warrior. The embrace is the union between Chthona and Solus. And we know that Ember wears a necklace of this, which I think is kind of funny. So it's a small statue of Solus and Chthona portrayed as a sun with a male's features, bearing his face in a pair of mountain-shaped breasts. The holy image was known simply as the embrace. So, in case anyone's wondering. Chthona is likely related to death, given mythology. That's what I'm thinking, too. Dark crown that no living being, that makes me think death as well. I would agree. And then I also said that it's noted that Randall was a sun priest, in case anyone forgot. Okay, Erd. We all remember Erd. They probably say, oh my Erd, or oh Erd all the time in Crescent City. So Erd is golden. I put yep because there's a reference to the god being golden. But a pure light of a star from another world from long ago, the gift of the ancient Fae reborn again, light, but nothing more than that. Not in Siri, who possessed brute power of the stars, just light, seen in the pride of her brother denied, but undoubtedly felt being starborn blessed and chosen by Erd. So Erd obviously has to do with light and sunshine and all that stuff. And then... I'm not going to try and say that name, but the keeper of mysteries and sacred mysteries. This is the goddess tied to, it's a goddess, by the way, tied to the oracle. So the oracle burns offerings at the altar, and a pile of bones currently smoldering atop an altar against the far wall, an offering for Ogena, I think so I say, Ogenes, a keeper of mysteries. So just want to make that known. And then the restricted creatures. It was a Death King, right? There is a Death King, but it's not a god in Crescent City. Okay, so restricted creatures, these are going to kind of be like your creepy crawly, creepy characters. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's start with the Kelpy. So we're going all the way back to Silver Flames, although Kelpy is also mentioned, that Kelpy is also mentioned in Crescent City, and I believe it's even mentioned at Throne of Glass, but I would have to double check the Throne of Glass one. The Under King. We do have something about I can't remember if it's in this PowerPoint or if it's in the next one, but the Under King is a little different than all of that. Would it make sense that Luna and Deanna are the same in the way that Roman and Greek gods are the same? Potentially. I think that's what a lot of people believe, is that Deanna and Luna are the same, but that hasn't been confirmed. But their descriptions are very similar. Okay, going into the Kelpy. So this is the description of the Kelpy in Silver Flames. So it says, what is a Kelpy? And Cassian is the one that answers it. He says, an ancient creature, one that the first true monsters of the fairies. Cassian said humans called them by another names, water horses or nixes. They were shape shifters who dwelled in the lakes and the rivers and lured unwitting people into their arms. And after they drowned them, they feasted only on the entrails that would make them back to shore. Then Cassian goes on to explain to Nesta that the Kelpy vanished hundreds of years ago before he was born, and they have not been seen since. And then I put spoiler alert because obviously we saw the Kelpy in the middle, specifically in the Orid, I think is how you say it. And then I put as a random fun fact, the Archeron mother, Mama Archeron, made sure that her daughters knew how to swim because a cousin had drowned and was murdered by fairies. So this also reminded, I thought it was interesting that there's multiple references here to the Kelpy kind of being this drowning creature. And then in a little later in the book, it says, an actual description of the Kelpy, which is, it was whiter than bone and humanoid, male. Bit by bit, inch by inch, the head rose above the black water, obsidian hair drifting in the water around the creature, so silken it might as well have been the surface. His black eyes were enormous, no whites had been seen. The cheekbones were so sharp they could slice the air. His nose was narrow and long, like a blade, and the water dripped from the tip of his mouth. It was too large, sensuous lips, but too wide. So the Kelpy is mentioned, by the way, I just remembered. It's mentioned, I believe, and I could fact check this, at the very, very beginning. There's like a paragraph. It's in the next slideshow, like for next month, about the forest. And I'm pretty sure it's in there. Okay. The knock, which this is the one that Jezebel has, which is another underwater-y creepy creature. And this is the creature that's in the tank. This is what Lahaba sacrifices. It's really sad. Anyways, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, so it's a dark scaled hand. This is what she says. Against a thick glass ivory claws scraping. Sorry, I couldn't find a photo with claws. I tried. Bryce swallowed. I want to know where anyone found a knock in these waters. From what she heard, they existed only in the icy seas of North and mostly in Pangaea. More than 8 feet long, the knock might as well have been the hellish twin of the mere male, but instead of humanoid features, the knock presented a jutting lower jaw with a too wide, lipless mouth full of needle-thin teeth. Its overlarge eyes were milky, like some of the fishes in the deep. Its tail was mostly translucent, bony and sharp, and above it a warped, muscled torso rose. No hair covered its chest or head. Its 4-fingered hands ended in dagger-like claws, and air was lethal, which we know at the end of this book. Let me see. It was exposed for more than a few seconds. The vital organs would begin shutting down, the skin peeling away as it burned. So, absolute nightmare fuel. I hate this thing so much. Erd is described as a goddess, the vat of life in ancient language. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, and then light singers. Avery's favorite topic, but this is what it says about light singers. So this is obviously going back to Silver Flames. They are light singers, lovely ethereal beings who would lure you, appearing as friendly faces when you are lost. Only when you're in their arms will you see their true faces, and they aren't fair at all. The horror of it is the last thing you will see before they drown you in the bog. They will kill you for sport, not for food. So they just kill for fun. They go, oh, I'm going to kill you for a sport. That's basically what they say. Okay, any questions about the ocean-related beings? Sorry, I haven't asked about this. Any questions about these guys? Ocean-related, the gods, all of that fun stuff. Any questions? I'll give you guys a minute because I know there's a delay. So I'm like, I don't mind. And then we're going to go over this. How long can a light singer hold their beautiful form? We don't know. And I think that's a good question because obviously the question of the day is, is Gwen potentially a light singer? It's unknown. Which water creature took the arch? I want to know the same thing. What about the water people favor helped? Those are the nymphs. The nymphs are in the next lesson because it's tied to Gwen. So all the major creatures we save for the next one. That's why. I was blanking on the name. Nymphs. Nymphs are in the next one. Nymphs are with the mer. So you'll notice we didn't go over the mermaids. Yeah, nymphs are with the mer. Yes, we're going to go over the different type of nymphs. Just like we'll go over I think over 10 types of fae. So yes, we will. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to move on. If there's a question, I'll read it. Okay, creatures of the night. We're going to go over the vampire. Vampires are a part of the House of Flame and Shadow, and they're described as having silky tones in their voice. It was mentioned multiple times. A known vampire is Maximus Nevermax. It was clarified. Tertian. Maximus Tertian was a 200-year-old vampire, unwed, unmated, son of Lord Cedrian, the richest of the Pangerian vamps and the most monstrous, if rumor was to be believed, known for filling bathtubs with the blood of human maidens in his frosty mountain keep, bathing in their youth. Bryce meets Maximus to give him the ownership of a 5,000-year-old bust, onyx bust of a vampire lord. So it's important to note this. And then this is where I think is the most interesting thing about the vampires, which is that the vamps had worked hard to get people to forget that the tiny fact that they'd actually come from hell, lesser demons themselves, that their ancestors had deflected from their 7 princes during the First Wars and had fed the Imperial legions vital intel that aided in their victory, traitors and turncoats who still held a demon's craving for blood. So they actually are technically creatures of hell, but they deflected, which I kind of forgot about and find extremely fascinating. Okay, the Seral, everyone's personal favorite. Let's talk about the Seral. Don't worry, there's 2 slides. So, okay, so here we go. So the Seral, Lucian is the one that first tells Feyre about the Seral. So it says that the Seral, they're old and wicked and not worth the danger of going to find them. We all miss sassy Lucian. I miss sassy Lucian. Okay, if I were insane and stupid enough to go after a Seral, I would take a bow and a quiver, maybe a knife, just like this one. He sheathed a knife, he cleaned it and set it down on the edge of the table, an offering, and I'd be prepared to run like hell when I freed it to the nearest running water, which they hate crossing. Okay, more Seral. I put T just for you guys. Okay. So the Seral, and this is when she actually runs into the Seral. So I hadn't known what to expect as I entered the ring of white trees, tall, straight as pillars, but it was not the tall, thin, veiled creature in the dark, tattered robes. Its hunchback was facing me. I could count the hard knobs of its spine poking through the thin fabric. Spindly, scabby, gray arms crawled out of the snare with yellowed, cracked fingernails. Disgusting. Run. Some primal instinct, human part of me whispered, begged, run, 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 and never look back. And I kept my arrow loosely nocked when I said quietly, are you the Seral? The fairy went rigid and sniffed once and twice. Okay, I want to take a second to bring up the fact that she calls it a fairy, because I was talking to Lucy about this and I was like, I am a little confused because I would never, ever, ever classify the Seral as a fairy. But then I also have to remember that So there's two reasons that I wanted to bring this up. One is we're hearing this from human Feyre. Okay, human Feyre is the one that's like, oh, it's a fairy. And she thinks everything's a fairy. Okay, so I'm a little like, is it human Feyre who thinks it's a fairy? Or is it just a fairy and Feyre knows that? Because Lucian never calls it a fairy. So I'm kind of on the fence about it, but I wanted to include the line that says, Feyre believes it's a fairy. But if you ask me, I don't think it is. I think she just assumed it was. So anyways, a face that looked like it had been crafted from dried, weather-worn bone. Its skin either forgotten or discarded. Its lipless mouth was and 2 long teeth held by blackened gums, slitted holes, ugh, it's disgusting, for nostrils and eyes that were nothing more than swirling pits of milky white, the white of death, the white of sickness, the white of clean-picked corpses. Peeking above the ragged neck of its dark robes was a body of veins and bones as dried and solid and horrific as the texture of its face. Love the description. Just love it. I am a member of no court, the Seral says. I am older than the High Lords, older than Prythian, older than the bones in this world. So, again, I don't think it's a fairy. I think she just made the assumption it's a fairy. Because creepy. Okay, then we have the bog. So Feyre's the one that encounters the bog, and it's the cold thing whispering past, circling. I could see nothing, but I could feel it. In the back of my mind, an ancient hollow voice whispered, no, it was the creature that should not be in these lands. We called it a bog. You can't hunt it. You can't kill it. Even your beloved ash arrows. And Feyre asks, why can't I look at it? And it says, because when you look at it, when you acknowledge it, that's when it becomes real, and that's when it can kill you. So the bog is one of those really creepy things that we don't have a description of for obvious reasons, because if we did, Feyre would be dead. So we're glad we don't have a description of it. The adder, the only important thing to note about the adder, which obviously is in ACOTAR, but there's a better description in ACOWAR, which is this, that it is described as having leathery gray features and wings. It's described multiple times that it has leathery wings. And then in Akamath, when the adder attacks Feyre outside of the Archeron estate and Rhys is there, and the adder calls Rhys a whore, it says it has silvery blood, which is something I wasn't expecting. Okay, moving on to the unknown beings, meaning we don't know what the hell these are. So the Borrowites. So a Borrowite is from Kingdom of Ash, and they are creatures of malice and thought. They covet gold and treasure, infest the ancient tombs of kings and queens, so they might dwell amongst them. They hate light, any kind. There are many Borrowites mounds across Wendelin, but there are others between the Cambrians and the Dornell. Beyond those we went to, as far as we know, he admitted, I didn't realize their tombs had been carved so deep. So what's funny about these creatures is they're kind of, when I was rereading the information about this, they're like super, super creepy. But when Alen and Rowan run into one before they're given before Alen gifts Rowan his wedding ring and vice versa, like they want nothing to do with them. So they like run away, but they're these absolutely just creepy beings. Okay, glowworms. I noticed that there's glowworms in both ACOTAR and Kingdom of Ash, so I put the quotes here. So glowworms, they're like those in the lantern, thousands of them, made infinite by the reflection of the black water, stars above and below. And then in ACOWAR, they each had their own resting place. This is in the Court of Nightmares. This is when Rhys and Feyre go to the Night Court's jewels. There's glowworms in there. So it says they each have their own resting place lined in black velvet, each illuminated by glowworms. Rhys told me as a tiny bluish globs crusted the arches of each nook, seemed to glitter the entire night sky. In fact, what I'd taken from the small fey lights in the ceiling high above, it was called a glowworm, pale blue turquoise. So these, and they're actually real. I typed in glowworms and look, they're it's not really magical. They're actual things. Okay, going to the unknown. I just want to say that I really hated looking for photos of this thing, so I picked a funny one because I thought it was funny. That's all you gotta know. Okay, so this is the creature in the mountain, also known as Bald Mountain, because that's what the mountain was called. So Rowan has this genius idea to tie Luca up and motivate Alen, and then they meet the glowing red-eyed creature under the mountain. She's swallowed as her shout as the scaled massive head stared up at her, not a dragon or a wyvern, not a serpent or a fish, but something in between. It was missing an eye. The flesh scarred down the empty socket. What had done that? There was something worse down there swimming at the belly of the mountain. And then later, when they talk to Emrys, I always quote this. It says, Fool learned that night what this is. The creature was almost as old as the mountain itself. It claimed to have been born in another world, but had slipped into this one. The gods were looking elsewhere. They preyed upon the Fae and the humans until a mighty Fae warrior challenged it. And before the warrior was through, he carved one of the creature's eyes out for spite or sport and cursed the beast so that as long as the mountain stood, the creature would be forced to live underneath it. And then when they ask, who was the creature that slayed the mountain, or the creature, carved out its eye, Emrys says, Fool, I didn't know, neither did the beast, but the language was spoken was Fae, an archaic form of the old language, almost indecipherable. It could remember that gold ring he bore, but not what he looked like. And we all know who that is. Gold ring he bore? Does anyone remember? Anyone remember? Who is the creature? Who's the person that had the gold ring? Let's see. TikTok will probably get it first because TikTok's, their live stream's a little quicker. Does anyone remember? I honestly don't know, but I literally was like, they said it was a pale creature, and I was like, okay, let me look this up. And I didn't want to put a snake. It is Maeve's lover. His name's Athril, Athirl, I believe that's how you spell it. So I put this little fish. There you go. All right, Lanthus. This is monsters in the prison. So Lanthus, this is what it says about him. So Lanthus could turn into wind and rip the air from your lungs and turn into rain and drown you on your land. He could peel your skin from your body with a few movements. He never revealed his true form, but when faced him, he could choose to appear as swirly mist. He fathered a race of fairies that still plague us, who thrived under Amaranthus rain. The bog. But the bog are lesser mere shadows compared to Lanthus. If there's such a thing as an evil incarnate, it's him. He has no mercy, no sense of right and wrong. There is him and there is everyone else, and we are all his prey. His methods of killing are creative and slow. He feasts on fear and pain as much as flesh itself. Okay, then the other creatures in the prison I put as miscellaneous. So there's the seven-head Lubia, who made the mistake of surfacing from the caves in the deep ocean and prey upon the girls in the western coast. There's the blue Anis, who was a terror to behold, of cobalt skin and iron claws that also had a taste for human flesh. I'm going to read that again so you guys can hear it. The blue Anis, who was a terror to behold, with cobalt skin and iron claws. Yep. Okay. Just wanted to make sure you heard that really loud and clear. Okay. Confirmed from hell. I want to quickly say, I know the Crystalis demon is not on this list. I'm fully aware. I also know that I forgot Bryaxis. Bryaxis is going to be included in the next slide. The Crystalis demon will be included in the next, in the next thing. So just want to make that known. I'm aware we're missing two things. Okay, so Death Stalkers. These are lethal assassins bred by the Prince of a Pit, Apollyon, in case you forgot. Then the Shepherd, this is in Hosab, was originally Thanatos' pet, planted in Midgard to spy, but the Underking thinks it's the Shepherd is loyal to him. It's not. And it says it was an experiment of the Prince of the Ravine of the First Wars. Okay. Then the Reapers. So these were creatures who deflected and served hell. But it says, from whence do you think the Reapers first came? Who first ruled the Vampires? The Reapers chose Midgard, but I'm not surprised. Some have changed their minds. Bryce demanded, and you don't care if hell steps into your territory. Who says that there were Reapers to begin with? There are none accounted for here. There are all many. Okay, so just to make that known. The Underking. You guys asked me about the Underking. Here's the Underking. So the Underking says that I hail from a place between the stars, a place that had no name and never shall. But I know the void that the Prince of Hell worships. It birthed me too. He stood at least 10 feet tall, robes of the richest black velvet draping to the gravel. Darkest swirled from the ground before him. His head, something primal in him, screamed to run. Talking about Hunt, to bow, to fall to his knees, to beg. A desecrated corpse, half rotten and crowned with gold and jewels, observed him, hideous beyond belief, yet regal, like a long dead king of old left to rot in some burrow, who had emerged and make himself a master of this land. The Underking is interesting because he kind of sounds a little surreal. He sounds a little Valgy. He sounds a little, I mean, those are kind of the two ones, either Valg or surreal. He just, the swirls of shadows is interesting. I don't know. There's a few options for the Underking for sure. And he could just be from like a mix of all of this. I don't actually know. I don't know. Okay, then the Oracle. So Sphinxes are rare. Only a few dozen walk the earth, and all of them have been called to the service of the gods. No one knew how old they were. This one before him, the one in Lunathian, she was beautiful. He forgot what to do with his body. The gold lioness form moved with fluid grace, pacing on the other side of the hole, weaving in and out of the mist. Gold wings lay folded against the slender body, shimmering as they were crafted from molten metal. And above that winged lion body, the golden-haired woman's face was flawless as Shahar's had been. No one knew her name. She was simply the title, the Oracle. He wondered if she was so old she'd forgotten her true name. So, just throwing that out there. Okay, Then the queens of Lunathe, and you guys were like, oh, wait, are you going to go over the... Yes, we're going to go over all the different queens. So the Viper Queen, obviously the one that you guys are... Well, the Viper and the River Queen are the one that you guys are probably the most familiar with. So the Viper Queen had ruled the meat market for longer than anyone could remember. Hunt made a point, all angels, whether civilians or legionaries, made a point to stay the fuck away from the Serpentine Shifter, whose snake form rumor claimed was a true horror to behold. So... That's the thing about her. The River Queen was part mare, part river spirit, could summon the worst, they said, possibly wash away all Lunathian if provoked. She was the daughter of... whatever. According to legend, born from the mighty river that encircles the world, and her sister of the Ocean Queen, a reclusive ruler of the 5 great seas of Midgard. And then I just put the Ocean Queen, and I said it again, she rules beneath, and is described as being reclusive, rules the 5 great seas of Midgard. The other thing, too, if you remember when you're reading Hosab and when Bryce and Hunter are in the submarine, there's more, like, you find out more about the Ocean Court, which is very different than the River Court. I feel like the River Queen and all of that, I got the sense that it was very like, I don't want to say volatile, but it felt like it was very reactionary, whereas the Ocean Queen might be more strategic in how she runs things. So it's kind of interesting to see the comparison between the two. Okay, before we get to the quiz, because that was the lesson, I told you it was going to be like a quicker one. Any questions, any comments, concerns, anything like that? I told you it was going to be a little bit quicker. I wonder with the Lunathian queens if they come from a familial line of the High Lords or that worlds from their world. So I will say this about the queens. I would flip that and say it is not Perithian. It's actually Throne of Glass. So remember that the shifters all come from Throne of Glass, technically. Well, I'm saying that it was not actually named Aurelia, but they said they came from a line of Fae that shifted. So it would not be Perithian. It would be Aurelia, most likely. But that is unknown at this point. Do you think the Seral is from a different world? Yes, 100%. I think the Seral we met may not have been, like they could have like bred and like had Serals there, but yeah, I think in general the creatures from what we gather seem like they're from a different world. It would make the most sense, I think. That would be my personal guess. So, how are we feeling? You guys ready for the quiz? Okay. Here's the join the quiz page. So you guys can join the quiz. You go to slido.com and you're just going to type in Masterclass. I'll let y'all join. It won't be too, it's not very hard. I tried to make it easy. You'll have 20 seconds to answer things. The Mycenians are in the next one. The Mycenians are like a 2-page thing. The Mycenians and the Myr are actually going to be right next to each other. That was one of the things. Like, this is what I'm telling you about. Like, when we were going, like, the little folk and the sprites, they were like, that was a whole page. And then the Mycenians were a whole page. Everything related to the Valg was almost a whole page. So then it just turned into like, let's just make it all like 2 separate things. So the next lesson will be a little longer. I wanted to get this one out to you guys so you guys had some stuff to go over. But yeah, it was like, good Lord. Oh yeah, no, the notes doc is, I'm not kidding when I tell you it's 25 pages, and we just went through about 10 pages of that. So, the Mycenians are actually not serpents. They believe in the dragon, the water dragons, but the Mycenians themselves are just like tied to it. The Pegasus are with the Seraphim, Peregrine, and Illyrians. Those are all together. I'm glad you guys are asking these questions, because I'm like, if I'm missing one, I'll be like, oh crap, let me add it. But the Pegasus are with the Seraphim, Peregrine, and the Illyrians, which are all Fae. So, anyone else joining the quiz? Okay, cool. Okay. I told you it was gonna be a shorter lesson. You're gonna get more heavy stuff. I think we honestly might start the next one a little earlier, but I wanted to get these guys out of the way because these ones are like doing the gods and doing the fae and like doing it all in one is a lot. So I wanted to kind of separate this, and we'll see how it goes. We're going to get more in depth and take time on some of these things. And if I feel like we need to stretch it out, we're going to. Basically what I did was the how to get a mate lesson was always going to be very short. And then theorizing the future was always going to be very short. So if we need to kind of shift lessons around to accommodate this, we can. And maybe talk about the mates with the fae. There's a few ways we can go about this. So I'm not too stressed about it. We have plenty of time. Little folk are actually with the sprites. They're on the same slide in the other PowerPoint, which has already started. The little folk, fun fact, are actually bigger than the sprites. I wasn't aware. So, okay, you guys ready? I'm going to start it. I'm going to start the quiz. Looks like we got 72. Okay, I'm starting it. Okay, in Throne of Glass, how many guardians guarded the portal between the worlds? 6, 8, or 10? It should be on their phone. I know it's going to kind of like... It's going to be a little bit funky. Hopefully this worked well. Okay, let's see. Which one was it? The correct answer was 8. Nice job, everyone. Nice job. Good job. Okay. The correct answer was 8. All right. Who is Abraxas named after? Was it a famed wyvern from the Otterlin line? Was a goddess worshipped by the witches, or an ancient serpent who behested the three-faced goddess? Fun fact, I spelled Otterlin wrong, I think. The Otterlin... thing is the Otterlin symbol is a wyvern, and it is at Gavin's tomb, which was a whole thing. Ancient serpent, three-faced goddess. Good job, everyone. So was the Seral an individual or a species? It's a species. The Seral is a species. We met one individual Seral. But that's a good question. Okay. How many gods did Alen meet in Kingdom of Ash? Did she meet 8, 10, or 12? We saw the same one. Yes. How many gods did Alen meet in Kingdom of Ash? Was it 8, 10, or 12? Let's see. What do you guys pick? Okay. We're a little split. The correct answer is 12. I hope they're all sassy. I do too. I hope they are too. The correct answer is 12. So good job, guys. Okay, where did the old gods of Prythian rule? Was it the forest, river, and mountains? Was it the 3 mountains? Or was it the middle? Where did the old gods of Prythian rule? Cassian is the one that told us this, in case you forgot. Where did they rule? Here, I'm going to play that music again. Wait, is it going to play? Maybe it won't. Ooh, we're very split on this. Okay, it was kind of a trick question. The correct answer was the forest, river, and mountains. But we were a little split. Okay, this is good to know. This is good to know. All right. True or false, the Dagin ruled for a millennia. True or false? How long did the Dagin rule? Let's see. The lag is going to be bad on YouTube, but the Slido, I bet. Like, Katie was painting my nails in class. Yeah, the correct answer is true. You guys now know what the lag is like on YouTube. It's a struggle. Okay, where are the vamps originally from? Were they creatures of the Asteri? Were they beings created after the First Wars, or are they creatures of hell? Where are the vamps originally from? I can't decide if they're vampire or vampires. I just want to call them vampires because whenever I say vampire, I think of From Blood and Ash. But where are they originally from? Yeah, Slido is going to be. Yeah. They are creatures of hell. Nice job. But the Asteri now have control over them, but they are creatures of hell, technically. So. Okay, what is the embrace? Is it 3 circles connected? Is it a gold male hugging a silver female? Or is it a sun male's features burying its face in a pair of mountain-shaped breasts? Which one is it? Which one do you think I did not make up is the real question. Let's see. How did you guys do? Okay. All right. The correct answer is it's a sun male. Features burying its face in a pair of mountain-shaped breasts. Good job, everyone. Okay, true or false? According to Feyre, after she turned Fey, the Seral is a type of Fey. True or false? So according to Feyre, after she turned Fey, the Seral is a type of Fey. Think about this one. Think about it. Let's see. Did I trick you guys? Ooh, I tricked some of you. The correct answer is false. She was human. And the Seral was type of Fey. So, I tricked some of you. I know, I'm sorry. I had to do one. I had to do one tricky one. Okay, what color is the adder's blood? Is it black, clear, or silver? What color is it? These are all colors of blood in the Sarah J. Maas universe, by the way. But what color is the adder's blood? Is it black, clear, or silver? What color is it? All right. The correct answer is silver. That's the correct answer. Black blood is for the Valg most of the time. Clear blood is the Crystalis demon, and silver blood is the adder. I don't know. I feel the same way. Ms. Witch is like, why is it silver? What does it mean? I feel the same way. I could not tell you. Okay, light singers kill for sport, for love, or for food. What do light singers, why do they kill? Why? Why do they take people? Why would you do that? What is the motivation? Well, there's clearly one. And the correct answer is they kill for sport. Good job. Good job, everyone. And we have our winner. Good job. Was that quiz better? The hardest one was where the gods rule. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. That was a very tough question. So totally get that. Okay. Q&A time. Time for the Q&A. I know this was a much quicker lesson. I apologize. It was kind of also a really crazy week for me, but we will have a much longer lesson next time. All right, I'm switching everything over. There we go. All right, I'm going to pull up the Slido. Let's see what you guys have. You can use this as the time to ask questions. If you're like, what about this? What about this? Put it in now, because I'll tell you. Let's see here. Q&A. You guys can put your questions in there, or you can put it in the live stream. That's totally fine. Great pace class. Great. The next one will be long, just as an FYI. It will probably be long. But I don't want to bore you guys too much. So it kind of helps a little bit. Here, actually, I'll put this here now. Now that we're not looking at that. That makes it a little easier. Who has clear blood? The Crystalis demon. The Crystalis demon that's in House of Earth and Blood has clear blood. Okay. Can you explain why you said there's a theory about Gwen as a light singer? I never heard that before. I know you don't do theory. I'm just confused. Okay. If we can get Avery on the phone, I'll call her and she'll tell me. If Feyre believed the Seral was Fae, what kind of Fae could he be? I don't know. A creepy one? You lulled Owen to sleep. I'm so proud. Are we getting back classes in the next class? Maybe, I don't know. Do we get to know your theory about the Illyrians in the next Masterclass? Yes. And I can tell you right now what it is. And it is, my theory is that the Illyrians are creatures of hell. Is there going to be a restock of the Masterclass merch? Yes. And we're even going to add, I think I can tell you guys this, because the design was approved, but we are going to add, cups, coffee cups. There'll be coffee cups added to the collection. And there is a fish. I'm so excited. I have to get the approval, but there is another Sarah J. Maas collection coming right before the HoFast collection comes. Please keep these on Thursdays through the end. They are on Thursdays, and I can tell you what the plan is. So I believe the next one's actually in 3 weeks. It's like very, 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 it's actually way sooner than I imagined. Let me see. So the next Masterclass is Nope, that's December. It is November 9th. So it's November 9th. And like I said, it's probably going to be a little bit of a longer one. So keep that in mind when you get to it, just as like a heads up. Can always use more. Yeah, they're mugs. They're going to be mugs. So that's what you can say. Okay. Who was the creature with the cobalt skin and the iron, the blue, I don't know how you say it, but it's the blue anise and any, I could tell you how, here, hold on. Let me pull it up again. You guys know that my pronunciation is like, my mom all the time is like, your teachers. And I'm like, I know, Mom. I know. Okay, let me pull it up. It is, I'm pulling up our doc, which is currently 26 pages. ANNIS. That is what it is. Okay. Can you explain? Oh, okay. Well, I'll call Avery about that. But I believe the Illyrians are creatures of hell. Gwen's light singer theory. She's gonna be so mad that I have to answer this. Hold on. Let's see if she's on. Here. It's 10 o'clock. She's awake. Look, in my phone, she's Freckles in Fiction. She might not answer. It might be my fault. Let's see if she might not answer.
Hello, you've reached Avery Simmons.
Yep, she's not going to answer. Okay. She's got a busy day at work tomorrow. That's why. You're going to have to go to her channel on TikTok to find out about the light singer thing. Because I'm going to be honest, I let Avery do all of that. I have no idea. I know it's something to do with the fact that Gwen is a nymph and that she doesn't feel, I'm going to butcher it. I think it has to do with the fact that Gwen doesn't feel like she is worthy of the invoking stone. And so I think it's tied to that. I don't know. You're going to have to, again, ask Avery because that's the thing. Avery's TikTok is Freckles in Fiction. Freckles _ fiction. So, okay, let me see. Restock on my, yes, not related to class, but the Illyrians theory. We talked about that. Can you explain the relationship between the water gods and CC again? The water gods, the queens, they're sisters. So the river queen and the ocean queen are sisters. And then they said that they are originally from one of the gods, which is Ogeanus, Ogeans. Is that how you said it? Let me look at it again. Let me look again. Ogenas. Yeah, I said it right. Yep. So there you go. How has life been treating you? This month is always a tough month for me, but it's been okay. It's been okay. I've been a little stressed out, but I'm okay. I feel like lately, I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I feel like every October, it's like the reflection of the end of the year. And this is the time when I do it. And so I'm like trying to get as much done as I possibly can. And it is very, very difficult because I have a lot to do. And I never can get it all done. So I think that is the struggle with today. Okay. Is the bog and the library creature related? I'm assuming, are you talking about the Bryaxis, that creature, or are you talking about, that's probably what you're talking about, not the Throne of Glass creature. I don't think so. So Bryaxis is one that we did pull the quotes for today, but I out because I felt fit into this, like for reference, let me just quickly tell you. So the way we have it like divided up is like the Myr, the wyverns, the dragons, and the rucks, the witches, the angels, the healers, the priestesses, the fae, the shifters, the Valg, the Asteri, all of them kind of got divided. And so it just felt more appropriate to keep everything like stuff like that. So yeah. Isn't the Gwen as the light singer theory tied to that she's a river nymph? I don't know. I let Avery do those theories. I don't know. I let Avery do all the Gwen theories. She's like the bestie who always has like the really good Gwen theories, and I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. A little bit. I just let her do it. What time will the class start on 11/9? It will either start at 8 o'clock Eastern or 9 o'clock Eastern. I'll make the decision within the next week, so I'll let you guys know. I'm awake for the live. Yay! My favorite mug broke this morning. Yeah, we're gonna do some mugs. So yeah, because the design is approved, so I think we will have time. So all of that fun jazz. But yeah. Anything else? What is the three-faced goddess? Doesn't she have something to do with the witches? That's a great question. So there's two things when it comes to the three-faced goddess. So there's the three-faced goddess, which is the one that is tied to the witches, and that's the mother, maiden, crone. So remember, when it comes to the Iron Teeth witches, they really believe in the three-faced goddess. So you have the mother, maiden, crone. So you have the crone is the yellow legs, the mother is the blue bloods, and the maiden is the Iron Teeth. So, and it's also has to do with how they look age-wise. So like, remember, the youngest are the blue bloods, that they look the youngest, and then the yellow legs look kind of older, and then the iron or the black beat, the black beats look a little they're kind of like middle age is what they said. Oh, TikTok disconnected. Really? Okay, now we go. There we go. So it has to do with that. Then what's interesting, and so 9 times out of 10 in Throne of Glass, the three-faced goddess is referenced with the witches. Then all of the sudden, it is also referenced every once in a while with the Fae, and that is kind of where it gets a little tricky. So just want to make that known. Where is your podcast available? It's available on Spotify. We haven't released an episode in a while. I'm fully aware. We recorded one. I haven't posted it yet. It's on me. It's because I'm trying to record 2 more, and then we're going to try and like binge them out. So that is why you haven't seen them yet. Just in case anyone's wondering. It's on me. It's not on anyone else. Is my internet just struggling right now? What the heck? It looks like it is. Why? I think it's calming down a little bit. Okay, I think we're good. But yeah, that's the deal there. Are you including the Princess of Hell in the next class? Yes. They were actually in the slideshow until about 2 hours before I cut them. So yes, the answer is yes. Okay. Yeah, it says it's going to buffer for a little bit. Hold on, actually, I can fix that. Oh, hello.
Oh,
What are you doing?
I'm going to bed because I have sugar rush this weekend.
Oh, okay, I know. So I'm currently live on YouTube, and they keep asking me about the Gwen is a light singer theory.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
So long.
I told them just to go to your TikTok.
I think it's pinned at the top.
She thinks it's pinned. I said you don't want to hear me explain it.
Yeah, it's the second thing pinned.
Okay.
That starts it, and then if you go into the comments on that video, it should redirect you to all, because I replied to a bunch of comments.
Well, there you go. There you go. That should answer the question. Because I was like, I brought up the light singers, and I was like, oh, because the Gwen is the light singer theory, and everyone's like, what is that? I was like, oh, I should not have said that. I opened a can of worms.
Oh my god. Yeah, no. So it should be pinned on my TikTok. The long and the short of it is that Gwen is a light singer, but that doesn't mean she's evil, because her nymph heritage is a quarter nymph. So she's only a quarter nymph and 3/4 high fae. And so basically, if you look up the description of a light singer, it's very much like a siren from Greek mythology, but the river nymphs are described more like the naiads from Greek mythology, which are peaceful and healing creatures, versus femme fatales that like lure people to their deaths. But that doesn't mean that all nymphs are that way. So like different nymphs can be femme fatales as well. So like it's a whole thing. I have like 4 pages on it.
Yeah, well, I'll just tell them to go check out your TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, good luck tomorrow.
Thanks. It's concert, festival, sleep, Disney.
Okay.
Send help.
Okay.
Hey, have fun.
Bye. Yeah, I don't know. The internet is buffering right now, so yeah. Can't wait to talk theories one of these classes soon. Yes. We are gonna be the most prepared. Exactly. Okay, so Light Singer and Shadow Singer. Yep, that's the idea. So, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and end today's lesson. We will resume, and it will be, like I said, probably a more in-depth. I'll keep you guys updated on Instagram and TikTok in regards to what the lesson's going to look like. If we need to push it to 3 parts, we can, but it's probably going to be definitely at least into 2, and the next one might be a little longer. I'll have a little more time. The past few days has been very stressful, so anyways, but thank you guys for hanging out, and I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. So I'll chat with you all soon. Bye, friends.